Hello again, another one of these Jonny's journals, 17th of July, so it's a day where Man United just won Leeds 4-0. Again, I was stuck at work, so I'm looking forward to seeing the highlights as soon as I get back. But yeah, pre-season's going well. It's nice to see all the youngsters getting one out, but we'll talk a bit more about that later or in a separate video. Today's video is just a bit of a recap really, about how the close season's gone. So I've seen a lot of tweets and fans saying that it's been like a boring close season. I think they're referring mainly to the lack of transfers, a lot of lack of activity. But I just wanted to reel off a few things really, because I'm going to reel off a few points about what is exciting me, and then if you compare yourself to an Arsenal fan who's actually not been in the news whatsoever, apart from maybe when Man U was linked with Aubameyang, I would much rather be a Man United supporter this summer. So let's start off with the reunion then, because the reunion was amazing. That's probably the best part of the summer regarding the men's team anyway. The reunion was absolutely brilliant. Great to see everybody there apart from Giggs and Keane. But yeah, that was absolutely brilliant. I watched it on BT Sport. I had a few mates actually go to the match. That is one match that I would have loved to have seen, especially with obviously Solskjaer playing. So yeah, who can't get excited over that? Especially after it came so soon after a bad run, after we had like a few bad games at the end of last season. To go straight into that reunion match, I thought was really good. Yes, we're probably living on the past a little bit, a lot probably, but when you got anything to cheer about, I think you automatically look to the past, and to see all those names and to watch all those players still give 110% and have a lot of fun, I thought was really nice. So I think that was a nice touch to get it started really. And then what else has been in the news? So I think it went from there straight to all the De Ligt rumours. And at one point, I think, De Ligt was one of the favourites to come to Man United, at least on paper and at the bookies. I think Barcelona was like 7-4 on, and then Man United was something like evens or 2-1. So we weren't miles away, but I do think that was probably just paper talk boosting up them odds, because there was no sign of it. And even now, like 2 months on, he's still not actually signed anywhere. I think PSG went favourites and Juventus went favourites, and it's gone really quiet the last 4 weeks really. So maybe he's going to go back to Barcelona or what, I don't know. But so we spoke about De Ligt. After that, that would be Herrera and Valencia leaving. I was gutted to see Herrera go, if I'm honest, but I spoke about that in another video. But he then obviously joined PSG, but that was, that got the fan base talking. Then you had the unfollow United, unfollow, and the Glazers out campaign. I never unfollowed, if I'm honest. I can't see the point. I think unfollowing accounts on Twitter, I don't think would make too much of an impact. I think even though a lot of people did unfollow, as a percentage of a fan base, you're probably looking at about 1% of Man United fans probably unfollowed, and a lot of those probably followed again 2 or 3 weeks later. So to me, that wasn't really a big enough thing. When it comes to like a protest, like the Glazers out, I made a bit of a joke about it in a couple of videos ago about only a few people turning up. I do actually agree with that. I don't think there's no harm in voicing your opinion. I think it was done on the wrong day. I think it needed to be done on a match day when more people were going to turn out. But yeah, again, so that was a highlight or a low light, whichever way you want to look at it. And then what was next? Probably the kit unveiling was next after that. So showing the black badge. Again, 20 years after the 1999 treble reunion, having that black badge there. Again, did the owners just put a new kit with a black badge just to try and encourage sales? Yeah, probably. Again, what I said earlier about like living in the past a little bit. But it is an anniversary, it is 20 years, so they can't afford to do that really. You know, I think it is a nice touch to remember what happened 20 years ago. Let's be honest, it's not been done since. So yeah, that was I think, you know, having that black badge will encourage more sales. I'm probably not going to buy one this year. I'll tend to buy like the training kits maybe, or something a little bit different. To me, there's only so many red strips you can buy. I can understand why you'd buy it this year with that with the reunion, but generally I bought one last season, had Solskjaer on the back, so I'll probably keep that for another couple of years or so. The away kit, I actually saw it when they played in Australia, Perth Glory, and I actually liked it. I don't think it's as bad as as people making out. Whether or not I'm going to buy it is another thing, but I don't think it's as bad as people make out. It's completely different, and if you read the write-up about why it's like a snakeskin kind of look, it's supposed to be brickwork representing a wall in Manchester, I think. So it's something different, isn't it? And it's not the nicest colour, but I don't think it's that bad. 70 odd quid though. You know, I definitely wouldn't go paying that. Okay, let's shift to the women's team, because I want to keep these videos at about 15 minutes long. Lionesses, great to see 2 English girls, 2 Scottish girls, and then Jackie Groenen represent Holland. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm a big women's football fan, but I am a huge Man United fan, and I have got a season ticket to the Man United women's team. So I can't tell you too much about the Lionesses, but I'm really excited about the women's team. I said before, I'm more excited about the women's team at the moment than I am the men's team. So I'm really looking forward to seeing our new signings. So yeah, Jackie Groenen, she's the one I'm excited about the most. Even just like where she's going to play, alongside Zellum, Hayley Ladd, McManus, Jane Ross, and new goalkeeper. Forgot the name. I'm sure that will come back to me at some point. Earps, that's it. Sorry. But yeah. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how they get on. I put a couple of Twitter polls out the past month, just trying to get a vibe of what proper Man United women's fans think of this season, and a lot of them says that they'll be challenging for top 4, and I agree with that, to be honest. I don't think we should take that for granted. It won't be easy, but I do think that they'll be challenging for top 4, and I think that's fair, to be honest, especially with the signings that we've brought in. I think we should be up there challenging for top 4. Our first 4 matches, crazy, we could end up with very little points. But if we start the season good, then it will set us up in good stead. What else can we talk about? So Pogba was the next thing. So you can always find Pogba in the news every week so far. Sorry, we just had an ambulance just drive past me. You can find Pogba in the news every week over the summer. But to me, I think it was only really worth mentioning when he actually came out one week saying that he fancied a new challenge, hinting that he wanted to leave Man United, and then his Viola, his agent, said that he definitely wanted to leave. The week after that, really pushing for that deal. From what I've seen of him since then, it seems like he's just getting on with it. Has Solskjaer said something to him, or someone said something to him to kind of put his mind at ease, saying that something will happen, or is he looking for a new challenge, but maybe not right here, right now? But in the pre-season game that I did see against Perth Glory, he seemed okay, and I haven't seen anything negative towards him in the press the past couple of weeks. So who knows? Maybe he's not being negative because he knows what's coming. Maybe he knows it's going to be a deal, or maybe he's just taking his time because he's showing a bit of respect to the club there. Everyone's going to have their own opinions on Pogba, but I think he will end up going, but I hope he doesn't get booed, if I'm honest. There was no sign of him getting booed in Australia. The fans were loving him, and I saw some fan cams after the game. I think the first couple of days that he was there, he wasn't really signing as many autographs as maybe like Wan-Bissaka and James, but he definitely wasn't booed, and a lot of fans went there just to watch Pogba, and I think he reacted to that in a positive way. And you know, a lot of people say that he's been disrespecting the club, saying what he said and coming out in the press, but he's in a difficult position. If he wants to leave, you know, and if he thinks he deserves to play in a better team, surrounded by better players, then obviously he's allowed to say that and do that. What else have I got here? Oh yeah, okay, so this whole Brexit FC thing regarding transfers. I personally don't think that Man United are just going after English stars. I think Solskjaer's looking at players, with him being inexperienced, he's looking at players who he thinks that he can mould and who will look up to him. And it just so happens that they're going to be young. Not Ashley Young, I think they're going to be young. You know, Wan-Bissaka and James will look up to him. I think Maguire will respect him. Whereas if he suddenly goes to people who don't really know him or know the club, who will maybe look up to Pogba or any other potential troublesome players at the club, I think that's why he's not going to those foreigners. I think he's leaning towards English players, but not intentionally. I just think that those players will kind of respect him more and listen to him, and also follow the likes of, you know, Jones and Smalling and Lingard and Rashford, which is obviously what he wants, because the club seem to look up to those players the most. Whereas if he gets foreign players in and they're looking up to the likes of Pogba, and you know, there's rumours about Martial causing unrest in the dressing room, I can see his way of thinking, I really can. But I don't think we're not going to buy a foreign player. You know, Fernandes is hot, you know, hot property, so could quite easily end the close season with Fernandes. So this whole Brexit FC thing, it might be a masterstroke. Who knows what's going to happen after Brexit, and you know, we could end up with all English people. But I don't think it's that. I think it's just the fact that Solskjaer wants people who he can trust and who will look up to him and do what he says, basically, and not fight it. Yeah, and that just brings us on to where we are now with pre-season. So we've had our 2 matches in Australia. I'm still looking forward to seeing the highlights in about half an hour's time when I get back home for the Leeds match. That's I'm really excited. Out of all the pre-season games, I'm looking forward to that one the most. And I know I've missed it, but I'll get to see the highlights. I might be able to watch the full match on MUTV, I don't know just yet. But yeah, definitely looking forward to that one the most because of the rivalry and because we won 4-0 now. And then obviously off to Singapore, Shanghai, Cardiff, Norway. I'm not going to see any of the female pre-season games. I know there's one happening in Norway. There was supposed to be one against Blackburn, but I haven't heard anything about that since. That was supposed to be an away match. But yeah, I'm just looking forward to the opening game now. Chelsea for the men's team, Man City away for the women's team. I'm really looking forward to it. So yeah, so going back to where I started the video, I think it's actually been an exciting pre-season for Man United, and I know that's mainly down to rumours brought on by our own fans. But I think, you know, being linked with all these players is better than not being linked at all, in my opinion, because it just gets too boring. Imagine 2 months without being in the news, you know. I'm just creating. Sorry about that. My iPad just ran out of storage, so I just had to delete a couple of things. But yeah, that's the end of the video anyway. I don't think it's been that much of a bad summer. So let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter, John Foster MUFC, JON Foster MUFC. I am going to be regularly uploading some videos on YouTube as well. But yeah, keep in touch and let me know what you think.